Hello, good evening, and welcome to Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. We're live here from the Full Speed Events Studios. We're bringing you all of the action from the Donny Chaingang here tonight, and it is the very last day of it being Velaskin January. It doesn't get any more right to the end of the month than this. We are heading on to the wonderful world of the Mercury Islands, the Kurikazi section, the area of the island outskirts, which essentially is running around the outside of the loop that we've used before for Seaside Sprint. Slightly different way to ride it, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out with a very special finish in there, different to the standard lap finish. We'll come into those details in a moment. Now, as you can see, we are, of course, supported by the guys. You can see them just up on the side of the screen there. 1080 OTE, Gritty, Velaskin, Halo, as well as Nonnas and Continental. And, of course, they look after the members of the DCG gang. Thank you so much if you're a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, who keep us basically on the road. Would say if you're a monthly member and you're a member in January and you haven't renewed, this week it's pretty important you renew before Wednesday night. And that is because on Thursday there's no broadcast. On Thursday I'm not going to be around, and there is an automated system set to send out those emails. Now if you're late, you're reliant basically on me manually diving in the system, finding that you're a late entry, you're a late member, and sending you that email individually. I'm not going to be available to do that. I'm heading to the Worlds at Hoogerheide for the Cyclocross World Championships on commentary duty on the worldwide feed, going out basically across the states and essentially anywhere that doesn't have its own feed or its own area, such as GCN, etc., in the UK or maybe L'Equipe in France. Stateside, worldwide, it's going out there. So we're going to be on UCI duty from Thursday. It means that I'm not going to be available to send out those emails. So please, guys, if you want the links, if you join after Wednesday night and you are a monthly member, you're going to need to register for the ride on Thursday as well. Russ will be taking everybody out and about. In the meantime, of course, in between the two DCGs, we've got the WOW DCG coming up as well. Let's run through where we're heading. We are going to the island outskirts. Now, this is a very short running of 150 metres, 0.15k. We then do 3 full laps of the circuit, 3 laps of the circuit, and we will finish at the Tide Pool Sprint Green Arch on the part lap after. So 3 full laps of 11.3, and we won't have that nasty drag up and that blind finish. The run in here, this is like a proper full-on tour finish. You run in. Now, because this has not been done before, the elevation is well and truly unknown. But if the maths is right, it should come in with a finish line at 43.05k. That's the maths. That's where it should be. We'll see if it works out, because of course it does depend on the processing, etc. So, guys, keep your wits about you. Russ will be taking you through the lead out, and Chris Ball will be looking after you if you do end up on the bus. Apparently tonight it is fish and chip supper on the bus. So, Chippy Tea, if you do land on the bus, being served in the usual place. Boom, boom, rubbish joke. It's already been used somewhere on the message board, but I couldn't resist. Sorry. Right. One of the reasons the distance is unknown is because we are going up this 4 times. And then we finish down by the 9k marker on the way around. So, the riders heading out from the start line. Let's see who is going to take this out. You can see everybody making the way out from those pens, and we've got Chris Idell on here, which is great to see, the man from Velaskin himself here and on the gang. So now riders up and away, and we're just going to try and get back to our own avatar, if only just to see that everybody has managed to leave those pens. Looks like 1 or 2 late starters just jumping in and joining it here. So going to be really key, guys. Keep it nice and close together. Really important, guys. Keep it close together. Don't get on the front. Still got a lot of people rolling out on the way out from the pens at the moment, and 1 or 2 late joining riders. Quick reminder, and that number at the moment is 96. It is going to tick over the 100 marker, we suspect. If that is the case, then what you will find is that you can't see the front and the front can't see the back. So really important, please, guys, make sure that you keep a check on that on the way through, because otherwise you will not be able to see everybody. You won't know where everyone is. So just seeing Mr. Callaway just pulling to one side. The riders continuing to push on here. A quick reminder, please, guys, make sure that you are out on the ride and are rolling along with that group. Simon Oxen just on his way out. He's got a little bit of chasing to do. Simon, I'll be jumping out and jumping back in again. Same for any rider who is more than about 20 seconds down. Dale Williams, I just made it. 5-hour drive from Wales. Always a long run in and over. So reminder, please, guys, make sure you stay around the gang. Make sure you keep an eye on what everybody's up to and you know where everybody is. Chris Ball on duty tonight in red beacon duty. And got the Donny jersey on there. Great to see so many people supporting that cause on the weekend. So at the moment, Chris just helping chaperone people in and through to the front, which is all part and parcel of being the red beacon. If you want to go at the red beacon, if you want to be part of the gang and help out, then please, guys, make sure you get in touch with Gail. Still a few months left to fill as we run into the end of April, which is when we're going to be stopping this year. So whilst the gang gets itself back together again, we are going to take a little bit of a run up with our helicopter up into the sky and just keep our eye on those riders getting together with the help of Chris. We'll be back with you in a second. So you just see the beacon making its way in to the centre there, looking good at the moment. And hopefully everybody sitting nice and smoothly in the gang, all looking good at the moment. As they make their way up over the bridge, the message board ticking along. So it looks like everybody out from those pens and everybody in with the riders. It's like Simon Oxen, the last rider that was on our screens, I think hopefully going to be making his way and joining in. He's actually chasing at the moment, I think. So it looks like Simon Oxen going for the big chase on. This is a brave move, but we know Simon, one of our real fast riders, is going to get a bit of a workout. So tonight, a slightly different route. It should all work out to plan. The calculations that we've got, it's 43.05. I actually think this is quite a nice move, this, because what I think this is going to do, by the change of route that we've got, because we're not just doing full laps, we're not finishing at the usual place. Type or sprint finish is a much bigger, wider sprint. It lets people really rip it up, a bit like when we go to something like Greater London Flat, where you've got that long, fast run in. The normal finish, I actually don't really like much in this section of Mercury Islands when you go up to Urakrasi. And that is quite simply because you can't see it as you come around the turns. So it's basically blind. It's also got a lift and a drop in. So it's not the best finish, I think, in terms of events. I'm thinking this will give us a very nice run into the finish. It should be good for breakaways as well. It should be a good chase back in again, because of course we're going to come up to the top of this section but on the way down, it's going to be a run back down in through the mangrove swamps, and then taking that turn and coming back in again. Now, just taking a little bit of a look at this group coming in here, and a few people being distanced on the way up this climb at the moment. So Billy No Mate's just going over the top of Carl and Chris as they come up to the top of this section. Got a little bit of a push to do to get in. Looks like Chris James from Ilkeston he's on his way up onto the top. Looks like, I think Chris has got tech issues sitting at 1.3. We know Chris is more than capable of double that power, so I suspect we're likely to see him jumping back in and through. We are now over that 100 rider marker, so really important, please guys, remember, you cannot see the back and you cannot see the front. Really key that you stay round that yellow beacon. Really important today, please guys. So looks like Daisy just stopping on the side of the road there, just pulling to one side. Interesting to see the bike choices in a moment for these riders. Mr. Potts just in. So it looks like Potts just squeezing to get into the back of the group. It's all treated as road. It is basically on this. There's very little difference in the rolling resistance on the way through. So coming round to the top of the course, you've seen it on the map, you saw it in the Velo Viewer profile. Big thanks to the guys at Velo Viewer, and of course to all of the gang who are at the Zwift Hacks, and Zwift really key. Great to see the maps always helps us with our planning. The Velo Viewer absolutely critical for the maths calculations and working out the routes and where they are and what they do on the way through. So it looks like Finley just dropping to one side. Finley's still got some pace and pattern. Should be able to get himself back in if he needs to. Might be just dropping out and jumping back in here. So we go with Richie Woodall. Richie, another of our riders who we know has got plenty of speed in those legs to get back onto the group, so long as he doesn't let this group drop down too far. So Richie coming up on to the top here. So as we come along, this is the upper sprint. There are two sprints. This the Shisa sprint. You can see we've got Joe Blackburn, Fiona Kessler. We did have Daisy Freon and Tracy the Terminator T2 .0 on the ride tonight. It'll be very interesting to see how they get on. Don't forget, of course, we've got our WOW DCG tomorrow, and of course next month it is the start of Continental Month on the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club rides. And that means that we're being looked after by the gang at Continental, and there's going to be more great offers for the riders on the gang. Say thank you very much for the support in helping us bring the gang out week in, week out, from September all the way around and across to the run in to April. Remember, the WOW DCG will be running October to March, to the end of March. The WOW DCG will come to a close for the summer. The DCG will run into April as well, and will run right the way through in April. So Continental looking after us after our Velo Skin January. It's going to be Continental February. It is going to be Nonnas looking after our riders in March, and then it will be one of our regular supporters that will be coming back into April for the very last month, the last, basically, last few weeks of the DCG in the spring, and that will then run us into that summer break. So a few people left chasing at the back here. Finley Hudson with the most work to do here. Finley, you've got about 30 seconds to make up, mate. So it's not impossible, but I'm not sure you're not going to burn all your matches, buddy, in getting there. So Finley, you may want to jump out and jump back in again. You've got Richie Woodall up the road about 15 seconds. Ed up here as well. Paul Simon in here. There are a lot of riders off the back of that group that people are not going to see because they're only going to see the nearest 100 riders sat in with them up on the front. But we have riders now at about 55 seconds. According to this, we're going to have a double check here. So yeah, that group is up here. It's a good 55 seconds, I think, up the road. But the riders are chasing to try and get back in. Well, I think the Red Beacon will do well to sort all of our riders. The pack down there really accelerates off. If you're not in with the group, you should go over the top. You know that you're going to be in problems on the way down. So a few people going off on the maps in the opposite direction. Finley Hudson, the lost rider, just coming down around this turn, heading down and in. Looks like Burkitt just in front. Just going across this spit of land, the sandbar heading out. Paul Simonite. Distance off the back and just about make out that beacon in the distance. Then it's going to be Woodall also off the back. We've got Raccoon. Distanced out as well. Mazzoni just holding on to the back of that pack as they come in and through. And looks like we've got a few people who are going to be on here. A lot of these riders not with dropout issues, Chris. It is very much the case. They were dropped because they weren't right on the wheels as you went into the descent and it split that group apart. But there are one or two people suffering dropouts. Some people just keeping out of the way, but looks like Burkitt at the moment, the last rider on the course. Raccoon just set out the way there, but now coming in at pace. So could well be Andy Wasser just dropping back to help our riders out. So whilst the gang attempts to get all the riders back in together again, a quick reminder for you of the route. Essentially, we come down the inside of the island here over the climb, dropping down into mangrove, so then coming across onto the sand bar that takes us in and through before coming up 3 full laps and then the run to the route section. So it looks like Andy just choosing to do a little bit of a regroup here. Finley Hudson still trying to chase on. Finley's going to take us, I think, right the way in to that main pack. There are riders behind Finley, but at the moment we're just unable to go back to pick them up. And that is quite simply because we are not able to jump any further back because of the way that the game is working with that 108. So 108 riders on, you'll see the nearest 100, but this is where we take our left-hand turn. I'm hoping that we're going to be with Finley as he rejoins coming in to the group here. So this the run in and down towards the game. We're going to use the Finley Hudson view for the run in to the sprint. We basically come round this sandbar, round the edge of the shoreline. You go underneath this archway. Now this sprint is quite a long sprint in. As you come through, that sprint line goes underneath the arch, which is relatively obvious, and then the run is in. So we will finish when we get to this green banner. We go around and through. So this is going to be your finish line as you come in and through. So underneath our riders go, that's where our riders will find themselves when they go underneath the banner. That is going to be the finishing line. And that green banner there, that was indeed the finish line. Typal sprint. Typal sprint times at the moment, not representative of where they're going to be a little bit later on, particularly if it's the run for the finishing line. Always good to see. Tom, absolutely loving it. What a surprise. We know Tom gets the emails, although on the emails it does say TBC. Shows you've got to watch the YouTube, you know exactly where it is then. Open another device, pull the screen up. Embark has been sent the wrong way twice, but you jump back in again. It's magic, it's wonderful. You don't have to do anything, you just magically reappear. You just got to make sure you're pedaling hard enough to get back in. Third attempt at the moment. Looks like somebody just heading off down the side there. Generally, issues come with updates when you are running multiple different devices on the game and don't necessarily have them all on the same update. So if you have downloaded, for example, Zwift onto multiple devices, so you might have it on an iPad, for when you're not at home in the pain cave. You might have it on your iPhone when your iPad's run out of battery. You might have it on your PC as well. You have 2 iOS and 1 Windows operating system there, and what will often happen is that will then cause a bit of an issue, particularly if you've left yourself logged into multiple devices. If you doubt, log out of all of them, go back in with the one that you want to use. Does cut down on a number of issues people get. Doesn't always work for everybody, but it is one of those tricks that actually does help. So it looks like Daisy Frey just in here, just trying to see onto the back of this group. Daisy at 3.5, just pushing to get back in. So traditionally this is the run into the finish. It's not today. Looks like Priest off the back here. So may well be that that's going to be the case, Andrew, that you might think about jumping out and jumping back in once again. You're doing serious watts per kilo here. I'm not sure it'll be enough to pull back 25 seconds. If I were you, I'd jump out and jump back in again. Generally the fastest way to get back in with the gang and get back in where you want to be. So you can just see the bunch going around that right hand turn on the island. We don't use the spiral climb on this section in the industrial section of Urukazi. Just quite simply because it doesn't go through on the island outskirts. Looks like even we're getting the odd jump on the way through at the moment. So the line there, not the lap line. Technically, I guess it's a lap plus a bit, plus 9. Right, Mr. Ball, tucked on the back. We're going to just drop in with our avatar. You've just seen all those riders go in and pass. We're going to jump back in with Mr. Priester, Andrew, just making his way in. Might need our yellow beacon to suggest a drop out and jump back in again. Chris Ball about 18 seconds up the road at the moment. That's the back of the main bunch. Tom Haggard tucked in the back. It looks like that's going to be the rearward section of the group at the moment, just making its way in and along. So Mr. Dalglish in here, gets him joining once again. Remember, we're going to take the right-hand turn here, and another right on the way through. Got to say a massive thank you to Chris and Andy and all the team at Veloskin. They've been looking after our riders. All the members of the DCG gang get 20%, not 5, not 10, 20%. 20% off Veloskin products with the discount codes as part of the members' email. If you want to be a member, don't forget you can go on the links via the DonnyChaingang.com website. The links are always up on the site. Basically, going from the same place that you go register, become a member of the gang. Make sure that you go in, join before the first ride of the month if you can, because that way you will get the links from the word go. You'll also get the option to pick up those discount codes, and those discount codes are there to be used, guys, whether it is the best pair of shades in the world from the team at 1080, whether of course it is going to be some gritty kit for some sustainable riding gear, whether you're going to be looking to have something that is going to keep you sitting comfortably, and of course the team at Gritty and Veloskin are very well acquainted. Gritty shorts and Veloskin chamois cream, good combination. Ask Jimmy Allen. He's got just won a year's supply. A year's supply for Jimmy Allen of chamois cream. Good to see we've got Marty on board. Welcome back, Marty. Marty back with us again this week. Marty and I both going to be commentating, in fact, on the Hooger Hyder Cross. Marty in the for GCM with Ian Field, and also with Helen Wyman in there. And I think we're going to have Jeremy Powers on site if you are a GCN subscriber. And then you're going to be on there, GCN Eurosport or Discovery Plus subscriber. You're going to get there. You're going to get the coverage coming there. Jeremy Powers will be basically on site as I will. I'll be going out for the rest of the world. So if your VPN basically isn't in the UK, the rest of the world pretty much covered by yours truly. Marty and the gang covering the GCN areas. Hopefully they'll all be good enough races that you'll want to watch them at least twice and see the various bits of action unfolding. 6 great races coming up on the Saturday and the Sunday. And if you want to get an inside track on that, well, we recorded the latest Crosscar show. That is our pre-Worlds episode, and we thought we'd grab ourselves a very special guest. So we have Pundit 2, Marty, in fact, on the show. Ian Field joining us on the Crosscast. So that next episode will be out, hopefully, reasonably shortly. Neil taking a break, no doubt, from the editing and working out which bits you can put in. Might be out later, says Neil from the Crosscast. Neil, of course, from Gritty, and Neil from the Crosscast, being the self-same person. So might be out later. That'll be good. You have a look, get your homework done, watching the, listening to the Crosscast whilst out on the race. It'll be very interesting. So Dave Robertson on here. Russ saying it's feeling fast tonight. I would agree, 100%, Russ. It does seem very quick tonight. Very, 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 very quick. So it looks like Priestford just about to make contact here. Good chase on by Andrew here, done in a fantastic way. The edit all the way up to race 2 on the cross. Good luck. Just this still got loads to do. Still got like loads of chatting. After a weak skin, it feels hard to Jason Stevens. I'm sure it does, buddy. Sure it does. So Robertson and Priester, the group at the back here. So 25 minutes in, just we'll stay in with David Robertson. David, one of our regulars. So Dave climbing here at it's about 2.5 to about 2.7 watts per kilo. Dave generating one of those 230 watts at the moment, 244. Making his way on the way up the climb here. So just interesting watching all the people going, saying their numbers are up and higher at the moment on the gang, and gotta say, it's faster than normal, judging by the numbers coming out. Right, it's currently being dropped anywhere up to 3 watts per kilo, 4 watts per kilo being dropped by the pack. The pack is moving really fast tonight. So if your heart rate's up, if you're having a hard time, if you got dropped early, yeah, the gang is on one tonight. And that is an understatement. So the red bus at the moment with one passenger scrubbing to try and make contact. Dave Robertson trying to get in. A gang all on the way in. So the red bus at the moment, about 35 seconds down on the main bunch. Just seeing a few people well and truly distance. Tom Hagger, looks like Eddie Dench out of the group at the moment. A few people just fighting to get in to the group. Priester, Ball and Johnson are gang in here at the back on the red bus. David Robertson, I think, choosing to jump off at this point, not having a great time, but not looking like he's going to get into that group either. So Carl Johnson just dropping his pace down so that he's on the recovery properly. Yeah, be careful, Carl, please, buddy. When you're in one piece. Chris just having a little bit of a check on what's going on at the back here, which is great to see. So you can see Chris doing some messaging with the gang in the back. That's what we love when we get our riders in there. So Carl, just putting the message out. Don't hang about. Don't wait for me. It's not a problem. And I'll just going to get my heart rate down. Don't worry about me. Our beacons do try and look after absolutely everybody. On the way through. Can't watch everybody simultaneously. It is much harder for them when we have the group going over 100. So Chris Paul just going back for a quick chat with the man at the back. And that is going to be Carl Johnson by the look of it at the moment, and then make his way up to the front. So the gang on its way through, gone underneath the line up here. So looks like Chris Ball just going to be starting to make his way up to the back of the group. And great to see the people who've a lot of people who actually meet on the Chaingang actually get themselves together. Looks like a few people just dropping back. The pacing absolutely flying on this group. Normally in the back of the group you would see numbers around about the sort of the ones and twos, and maybe 2.5. If the front is doing 2.5 to 3, usually about basically a watt per kilo, so 2 watts per kilo less at the back. So I think there's plenty of people prepared to help take up the running on the front, and maybe just getting a bit more churn than normal. So 37 minutes of running done. Jumping in with our prize winner in Velasquez, Jimmy Allen, in that members draw, winning a year's supply of the Velasquez chamois cream, as well as some bidons, casquettes as well, so a cap. So Jimmy with some absolutely cracking prizes coming his way, winning on that members draw. There's a lot of people saying it's feeling harder. That's because it's faster. I think overall, everybody's going to be up at higher watts per kilo. Everyone's going to be up on higher heart rates because you're already quicker. It's real simple stuff. Dead easy. You'll ride faster. You'll take a turn on the front, and oddly enough, the bunch will move quicker, faster, move at a higher pace. That's kind of how it works, guys. You might not think you're doing much, but I reckon it is. You will see. So Cal on his way around the Warden Benz on the side of the island. Our red beacon just working his way back up to the riders in front. I think he's got Priest at about 3 seconds. Kemp at about 55. Kemp distance from the bunch. Paul Malin distance from the bunch. Looks like Finch also just on the end of this group. Yeah, I'm not surprised we've seen a few people saying too hot for them tonight. I think there's going to be a lot of DNFs and a lot of people dropping tonight on the way through. There's a lot off the back, never mind a few. There's quite a lot of people dropped and gone. Now, Gordon taken out, Gordon ran at well over 3, although we are 40 minutes in, so we are a long way in. We're only at 23.8k. So the group working well at the moment, working almost too well. Dale Williams feels very easy to lose the wheel at the back. This kind of happens when the group goes quicker. It's going faster. Interesting to see what the average speed is when we get to the end of this one. So we've got quite a lot of climbing, already done 190 metres. So it looks like Priest and Bull, the Joe on the back here. So it's Priest, then it's going to be Kemp, Finch, Jackson, and then we're into the back of the group. But also our regular names in here. You can see Marty holding on in here. Bailey in here, Mal in here, Dr. D's in, Ron Durbash, Jim Flynn in here, Simon Runnett. Looks like Tracy Seeley still sitting in here. I'm sure I've just seen Daisy Free just to the left there of Tracy as well. Alfie Norton here, Mick Hawkins in, Dave Hopkinson in as well. Good to have you in the gang as always. See some of our familiar faces back in. Dan Ladle in here. Good to have Dan back on the Chaingang as well. So Dan in the traditional orange. Definitely Seacroft Wheelers orange there. Simon Runnett realising that they've just crossed the Rubicon. Only in time, not in distance, mate. The fact that Ross has been trying to hold it all together so much so that he's actually missed the fact that we went over the sort of 40-minute marker, which is that metaphorical Rubicon. The Rubicon, of course, the river from which no Roman general was allowed to cross back. Basically, if he came back past there, he's considered to be trying to mount a coup and would be up for treason. Basically, it was win or bust at that point. Caesar, of course, famously crossing that. The line attributed to him is Ali ejecta est, so the die is cast. Will it be Ali ejecta est from Russ? Will he indeed set the marker down? We will soon find out. So it looks like a few people starting to be distance here. Marty feeling the pace here. Looks like Matt Crease also. This climb pretty brutal at the best of times. It's certainly looking like that on the way up. Inventor of Dolphin. Seriously, is that true? That's a fantastic. Really hope that's true. And the go has gone. Well, we said it was unlikely to be long. It isn't. We're just in with Steve Cannon at the moment, and you can just see this pace. Lots of new PRs being set. There's quite a few people chucking in anvils really early. Chris Ball's got the chips on the go, so the bus open for business well and truly. Question is, who's going to need it now? Those anvils are going to come into play the faster as they come down and into the descent. Nobody's going to run as the Tom was saying, just leave him in his ignorance. So Joe Blackburn tucked in here. Joe, of course, one of our really fast and almost unbeatable riders, as Russ has put a bit of a spurt on here. He's got the anvil. We've actually gone for a review camera looking back behind Russ, but by the time our camera got up to Russ, this massively quick moving pack with the anvil engaged are absolutely hurtling down here. So Simon chopping in here, Joe Blackburn, we've got Mason in here, Neil from the Crosscast, Alexander in here, Richardson on board as well. A real mix of riders at the front, really motoring the pace here on the gang as they come through. Looks like Isaac Oliver right up in the mix. Tom Hepton really doing some turns on the front there, really pushing. Well, having the anvil there has meant we've got a really different mix. Normally on that descent, without the anvils, it would have been a very different mix in there. Because of those anvils, we have seen a very different mix of riders in the front. And that means, of course, if you're a stronger rider a little bit further back, you're going to have to work a little bit harder than normal. So it's not just going to be our usual favourites on the front. If you are a rider who got an anvil and maybe normally couldn't keep up with the big powerhouses on that descent, and you just have all mixed up, that is exactly the aim of those power-ups from Zwift, to really mix up the riding, add that little element of randomness that really does change how people ride. Simon Upson, John Dixon in here, Liam Mazzoni in here, John Wild, no surprise to see the man from Velo Viewer right up in the mix. John, one of our regular riders, and good to see him back on the Velo Viewer team, of course, responsible for keeping us informed of what, where, when and how it's all rolling. Yep, crazy descent on the way down there. Now we see the next descent coming in. So all those who got a feather instead can try and put them to use on the way up here. Seriously, big numbers coming out of people tonight. I think everybody's like on a different, little bit of a different world tonight. So Richie will have to be off the back up on the front and winding this up. And great to see Richie on the gang again. So this gang has thinned down. We're going to take the left turn here onto the sand once again, across to the main Mercury Island, and taking the left-hand turn along the shoreline underneath the run past the tide pool sprint for the penultimate time, where effectively it will be one lap to go at the tide pool sprint this time round. So here we go, this is the run in and through. This is going to give them the run through. Let's see how they go. It is one to go, the green banner. That's 11.3k when they hit the green banner. This is where we see whether our maths is right. Russ and I keeping fingers and toes crossed as they run through. So underneath they go. I think we're going to be pretty much about right with our mass on the way here. So 1 lap to go at that green line, and you can see how quick it is. Look at the amount of confetti. It's absolutely snowing confetti down on these riders. This group going in and through. So the front group, 46 riders strong according to the numbers on here. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all, looking at the size of that pack. So 46 together. I bet it's not 46 when they go over the top of that climb next time. So through they go. This is the second group of 3 riders here, about to see another rider. In fact, 4 riders, because there was a ghost in there, not Mr. Mason, no. So the group with Chris Ida from Veloskin in here. This is group number 2 on the road at the moment. 28 seconds down on the leaders that contain our yellow beacon. So that's a group continuing to push onwards. Then it is going to be the group with Matt Woodward, Paul Mallon just behind him. Chris Cannon can see that pair, so can Wallace. And then it's going to be the group with Gibbo, Daisy Freer. Going to be the group that's got Lee Rabb in there. Paul Simonite in this group. Jackson in here as well. Then it's going to be Bobby Mason with Raccoon Cannon and Dubash. Fiona Kestevan in this group here with Neil Kerry and Lone Rider. Dave Hopkinson a little bit further back. Remember, at the line it is 1 to go. Chris Ball just coming up with Marty in there. So Marty, Chris and Mr. Priester in here as they come around this turn. Remember, they've got 1 lap to go when they hit the green line this time. 1 lap to go when they hit the green line this time. We're going to run our way up towards the very front of the pack. It's going to take a little bit of doing. Let's see what's occurring up at the very front. This is group number 2 with Tracy Seeley in there. We are just making our way up to the leaders. This, the leading group, and the pressure on. Again, you can see it's all strung out at the moment. So this is going to be very interesting to see who's going to take this out as they continue to push Simon Oxenden right up there. But I think that looks like Isaac Oliver on the attack here. Good to see the youngsters being nice and aggressive here. Well, that attack by Isaac Oliver doing some damage here to the group. Remember, here's 40 plus riders. It's not 40 plus riders anymore. There's going to be some seriously damaged legs. Look at that little group now. It's near going to be about 22 riders, I think, left in there. So 50% shed on the run through the to the virtual banner in groups behind. So Jimmy Allen in there. That's going to be Alfie Knott, along with Mick Hawkins, Tom Hager, Liam Calloway, Dick Samuel. This group is group number 2. They were group number 1. But all of these riders at the moment being faced with a massive chase to get back in here. It's not all over yet. It is doable. But I think Tom Hager, Alfie Knott, Eddie Dalglish and co have already got to go. So looks like they've managed to shed some pretty quick sprinters in here. People like Liam Calloway, Eddie Dencher's distanced here. So done some damage. Looks like Finn distance as well. Good work being done to split that group and take it down from 46, bring it down to a more manageable group. Can they do the same again as they go up on to the climb? So just going to take a look. Looks like Isaac again on the offensive, looking to try and split this group. I've got to love it when people try and get away and try and get clear. Now we've got the climb coming up, and it's going to be key to try and get up and across as fast as possible. Remember, once you go into that descent, the advantage with the descent. So Isaac on the move here, trying to get clear, doing a good kick here. He's off the front. Can he hang on as they leave the Industrial Islands behind? Going to make the way up onto the climb proper now. So across and up onto the climb proper, and then all the way up to the top to the Shisha Sprint. Then it will be that fast descent down to the flatlands, to the run across the sand spit, and then they're going to be going back up onto the top. Now, looks like Isaac with 6 seconds at the moment. 6 seconds to Murray, to Blackburn, to Downing, Jeffries, Mazzoni. Looks like some runner in there. Rovati in as well. Tom Hepton in there. Neil from the Crosscast is in there. Looks like Dale Williams as well in that chasing group. Phil Oliver's in here. Gary License in that group. Currently at 5 seconds, I think it's the majority of the group. But that group is chasing. It looks like the chase is being led by Tom Lindley. So it's going to be Tom Lindley and Liam Mazzoni who are on the hunt for Isaac Oliver. How many more kicks has Oliver got? Well, we will find out, because the group has just come back up to him. Yellow Beacon in there as well, so Russ in the mix, Josh Mayland in there, and a counter attack, I think, pretty much over the top here, because that's a decent kick here. Liam Mazzoni are currently moving at 7.5 watts per kilo here. So over 500 watts coming out, 530 watts coming from Leon at the moment, being chased by Murray, Oliver, Oxenham, Hepton, Wild, Mayland, Jeffries, Williams, License, Blackburn. They're all working hard. Looks like another rider just losing ground on the back here. Is that going to be Sharp? It is Sharp who's just been distanced now. So Sharp now distance. Looks like Neil from the Crosscast in this chasing group as well. So Gary Sharp, the rider. Last riders just get distance. This is the leading pack. They are giving ground at the moment to Leon, who is up the road. He's got that little bit of a gap, but you can see that Yellow Beacon is not far behind. You've got to get some distance. You don't want to leave it to a sprint. This is the key point to go. You've got a second bump on the way down on the little island between this upper section. This upper section, of course, rumored to be a linking section across to Mount Fuji World. We'll see whether that turns out to be the case. Be very interesting if it is up a big old climb in there. And there we go, of course, Glasgow coming out. The world is reserved at the moment for Tour de Zwift. You can never get a new route till Tour de Zwift are done with it. And they, understandably, after all that hard work, keep it for themselves initially. And in some ways, that's a good thing, because you get to learn just how that route is going to ride. And also how it plays in group dynamics. There's been a number of worlds that we really wanted to go on to, and we deliberately held off because they weren't stable enough to ride in initially in a group. Happens less and less these days. At the moment, one man is definitely stable. Sat there on the front, it is Liam Mazzoni now at 14 seconds. Murray is trying to bring this group back across. He's doing a lot of work on the front here with Russ, but you can see these riders, they're across the road. There's not one long line at the minute as they go in and through. Now, who's got an anvil on the way down? If Leon's got one, this could be very interesting, because he could extend his lead. The odds of the group behind having an anvil between them got to be pretty good. It's a 1 in 8 chance. Just waiting to see if they're going to be deployed right into the territory where it's going to work, and it'll last all the way to the bottom. Now we're seeing a few people just cruising down there. But at the moment, this group is together, and I don't think they're making particularly any inroads in here. 18 seconds to Leon at the moment. So here we go now. The chasing group behind this was a substantial way back. I think it was 22 seconds back. Just seeing a concerted chase here. Simon Runnick warning that he was going to chuck the anvil down, just to give people a heads up that that was coming in. You're going to use it if you've got it. By warning people, it has allowed them to be aware and try and stay on to that wheel. So that's Neil from the Crosscast. It's going to be Jimmy Allen. It's going to be Gary Sharp and Richie Woodall. Then going back into Dowd Leash and Callaway and Co. Now let's take a look on to the next little section here on that run across. At the moment though, up the road, well, you can see that it is Leon on here. So Chris Paul just giving the chance out to riders jump in with the gang. Jump in on that bus. So here we go, Leon on his way through, leading out. I think he's going to close down the riders 39.6. Remember, this just take us in to, I make it 43.05 by my guesstimations on the VeloViewer maps, and the figures are trying to equate where those sprints are on the way through those maps. Let's see how close we've got. So here we go, heading into that little island. Looks like Mazzoni's going to get pulled back here. There's John Wild up there doing plenty of work as well. This is your chasing group. So basically second, right the way down outside the top 10, outside the top 15. Bit of damage done on the way down there. The chasing group behind, well, looks by my reckoning then it's going to be 17 riders in here. Joe Blackburn just tucked in to the wheels, just seeing some more power going down as those little riders start to take a little bit of a check of each other as they go in and through. Josh Malin, Dale Williams rolling in here. Now it's like Williams is on the front at the moment, but nobody doing massive amounts of work here. They've got a decent sized gap, 41 seconds to the chasing group behind, so plenty of time to finish, but we're about to hit the final climb. So here we go, let's get that drone cam up in the air here and keep an eye on these riders. We're now on to the slopes, 4% coming in. This is where it benefits those climbers, those lighter weight riders. Russ starts to put the power in here. He knew something was going to go there and looks like he was trying to stay in. Josh Malin using the power up, trying to ghost his way clear. Simon Oxenham in the mix here, but Malin not able to go clear as they came in and through, even using that ghost to go up onto the front. As Shopping takes over on the front now. So at the moment, Simon Shopping at the front of this. Question is going to be, are all the rest of the riders going to be felled? And he starts to swing the big axe and really start to push on, or will we see him swallowed up? This group is working really, really well. Well, time to start taking your bets on who it's going to be. Remember, we go left at this small junction here. We're going to go left here. We go left on to the sand of the main island. That's when we're in that run in to the finish. You've got Russ on board here. So Russ, we know, has the kick to go clear. Will he be able to pull this through? It is a real who's who. Dale Williams is in here as well. Wouldn't bet against Dale in this company. You've got Isaac Oliver who can sprint as well. Tom Hepton. In fact, basically, anybody here can sprint, because you wouldn't be in here if you couldn't. It's that straightforward. You've got to be able to put some big outbursts of power on the way through. Russ leading them through. This is the run for the finishing line. Remember, when we go underneath the archway, that is when you're going to see the gap. Dale Williams has taken the run at everybody. He's got the gap, so it's Williams at the moment who is off the front of this group. Our camera's fighting to stay with him as he goes under the arch and over the green line. He got the gap. Now Gary Lysett started to kick. Tom Lindley is kicking as well. You can see that Archway is coming. The group behind are coming at him. And I think he went a bit early there. I think his legs have gone absolutely to pieces, but he's going to cruise through. He's going to take it. It's going to be Mazzoni in second, Lindley in third, Licence in fourth, Oliver in fifth. Absolutely flying the way through there. Joe Blackburn comes through, taking the women's sprint on the way in there as well. That was brutally fast. Nick Murray, quite agree with you there, buddy. So Joe Blackburn, fastest female finisher in the middle of that sprint as well. So Joe with a 19.41. The fastest sprint time coming there from Mazzoni as he kicked into the line. That is some seriously quick riding. Russ in and through. Phil Oliver coming through. Neil from the crosscast leading out this pair as they come in. Will it be Neil who's going to take it as they come to the line? I think he's just got the better of Simon. Runnett's pushing. Oh, it's so close on the line. Then it's going to be Sharp, followed by Ruddle. Coming through Richie Woodall. Not Ruddle, that's putting both names together. Then it's the run for the line. Who's it going to be? Mick Hawkins is on the front. He's got the kick. We've just seen somebody ghost the way up from the group here. And the question is, when are they going to reappear? So at the moment, Hawkins looks like he's got the lead. He stayed in front of Potts. Potts puts it in there with the ghost. Not enough, though, in the tank to go past. And it's Martin Taylor, Goodwin Hagger, the leader of the next group. Got Alfie Knott with him. He's got Keith Richardson starting to wind up in this group. It's going to be close here. I think it's going to be Alfie Knott who just gets that. It is indeed Alfie Knott, then Richardson, Hagger in that order. Neil Morn with the gap to the group behind him here. Vin Donahoe and Noel are chasing hard. Here's Donahoe and Noel really trying to push, but it's going to be Morn. Then it's going to be Donahoe, followed by Noel Clark. John Hine comes through. Dixon Moore, John Dixon, Martin Conley. Another good ride by Martin in there. Dixon Moore, Dave Fulton coming through, as well as Doug Main. Then it's going to be Finley Hudson, just in and ahead of Hughes. That was scary, scary quick run in. Like that finish. Much better than the other one. Much better than the one around the side. I think this may be finish of preference for me every time. I tell you, it's definitely an interesting sprint coming in. And I think because of the way where the hill is just before the finish, the little hill just before the finish, the big hill, a long section before, that really, really works to wind up the group and get some really good performances out. Now, Tracy Seeley in danger of being taken here by Mantis. Mantis is going to just take Seeley on the line. She's just rode on the line. And it's going to be Wilson and McDermott coming in and through. Behind it will be Paul Simon out of the Sitwell CC, followed by Paul Malin. Then it's going to be Gibbo. Gibbo is winding up, but not going to get Malin. Malin always with a big kick into the finish. Then it's going to be the run. It's going to be Stevens, Wallace, Rab, Chris Iredale comes through from Velaskin. Thank you, sir, so much for all of your support. Thank you very much for looking after the members of the DCG gang. Oh yeah, 20% discount don't forget, all the way through the season, all the way through the year if you're a member of the DCG gang. So fantastic stuff. 80 Dench in and through. Sadler on his way in to the line. So Chris Sadler, then it's going to be Marty Davidson behind. So Marty on the run for the line. He's got to be careful because Wallace is coming at a rate of knots here. So it's going to be Wallace who's going to get this. So Wallace goes through. Then it's going to be Marty John Garfer, our beacon of last week. Then it's going to be Forbes Taylor. Good ride by young Mr. Taylor there. And it's going to be Matt Woodward just ahead of Rich Orrell. Then Daisy Freer coming in through with them. Bailey from Sheffrick will be our next rider. So Bailey about to come underneath that banner. In through he goes. So Andrew Bailey goes through. Then it's going to be Simon Jackson. Simon's got a very dangerous man behind him. He's got that big man behind. Here he goes. He's wound it up. He's put the sprint in. We know that Canham is always going to go for it. Come on, Chris. Big dig here Simon Jackson trying to respawn, but we know that Chris gets the timing right more often than not. Behind him then it's going to be Dan Ladle, just ahead of Bobby Mason. So here we go, Dan Ladle, next rider, making its way in to the line. It's going to be Bobby Mason, followed by Sir Rodney's group. So Jackson in and through. Dan making his way to the line. Good kick from Dan. Always did have a fast sprint on him. Good grass track rider too. Very, very good. Pretty sure divisional medalist in Yorkshire. Actually would have raced against Russ at some point, I'm pretty sure. Then it's going to be Bobby Mason, left reminiscent. So Bobby coming through. It's oh, look at this. Rodney's gone for it. So Rodney and Steve Cannon go through. They just go over the top of Bobby Mason. As does Fiona Kesterman. Good to have Fiona on the ride once again. Then it's going to be Lone Rider, who's just making his way out from the palm trees and on towards the arch ahead of the bus. That bus is rolling really well. So Dr. D having to take a jump out. Good to have Rowan in the gang. Just keep it safe, mate. Keep yourself in one piece. As we see a Lone Rider on that last run in towards the line. So coming down past the tide pools, that gives the tide pool sprint its name. It is Lone Rider, our next rider in underneath the finishing line here tonight. The next rider, well, I'm going to take a little bit of a check. It could well be Dr. D. And then it's going to be Andrew Priester in here, Jim Flynn, Chris Ball, as well as Kemp. So Gordon Kemp tucked in here. Nice group of 5 riders. Looks like Marty Mack. Just distance on that run in on the way through, but it is going to be our Red Beacons group that's going to come through. That bus continuing to push onwards here. This group driving well towards the line. Our bus driver Chris tucked in here. Still moving quick, this bunch. Still moving like 2.5 to 3 watts per kilo. So yeah, fast old bunch. They come in towards the sprint line here. We know that Jim always ready for a dig on those pedals. Not sure the anvil's going to help on a 0%, so why not bin it off if you've got it anyway? So Jim puts the kick in. Dr. D's trying to go with him as Dr. D got the match in here of Jim Flynn. That line is coming. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. So is Dr. D, but it's going to be Jim on the way through. It's Jim. Then it's going to be Dr. D. Then it's going to be Priester, followed by Kemp. Then it's going to be our Red Beacon. And big thank you to Chris Ball. Chris on that red Pinarello making his way in and through. Which means Marty, I think you are our last man on the road. Which means we get to follow Marty on his way in and through to the line. So whilst Marty is making his way down in and through towards the finish here today. And we'll keep an eye on Marty as he comes in and through. We've got a few things, a few bits of housekeeping to do. So don't forget, if you're a member of the DCG gang for January and you haven't renewed for February, if you leave it till after Wednesday, you're not going to get the link sent to you on Thursday. It's automated, it's pre-done. I won't be able to catch up with late joiners manually. It's what we normally do and send out those links to you because I'm not here. I'm going to Hooger Hyder, going to the World Championships. Martin be talking about it, so will I. I got lots of the A-team heading out there and me heading out to the event or watching it in the studios back in the UK. Please, guys, remember, get the entries in, get those memberships in. You can always register free on the Join a Ride, register for a single ride. That gets you in for free each and every time. That's always going to exist. Of course, we give priority to the people who are donating and keeping the show on the road, looking after the hosting fees, the extra internet, the extra processing, and all the kit that we use, as well as keeping Russ on the road as well and able to devote the time into looking after our riders, which is what we love to do, and make sure everybody gets a great ride. Don't forget, sounds like the Crosscast is going to be heading your direction. And that's going to be coming out. That is the pre-Worlds Cyclocross Crosscast. That is going to be heading out hopefully tonight. Never know, tonight or later tomorrow. It'll get pinged around on the social media, so look out for the links on out the Crosscast. Of course, you can catch up with them as well on the Full Speed Events links on social media. That's at Full Speed Events. You can catch up with me. It's at Matt Fix the Pain. You can catch up with our Yellow Beacon, who is back in her familiar role. This Yellow Beacon, that's Emma. Emma is at Biking Emma. You can catch up with Russ. It's at Funsey Downing. And, of course, at Downing Cycling on the way through for all things related to the coaching. Russ with, of course, Bike Flex and the coffee. You name it. Man with fingers in many pies as ever. Don't forget, of course, you can catch up with the coverage from the Worlds. Basically, anywhere where your VPN is outside of Europe will take you pretty much into the rest of the world. Brazil's a good bet. Brazil doesn't have its own commentators. They use the English feed from the Worldwide Feed, which is yours truly for that. That's 2 days across from Hoogheide, and we'll be trying to bring you up the updates. Tomorrow is the WOW DCG, and we'll be seeing more of our riders making the way in and around the circuit. Our Yellow Beacon Emma will be taking our riders through. So as Marty comes in to come across the line, he's going to hit that at... well, I reckon it was 43.05, 43.1. I'll take that. That's not a bad working out. As he comes in and through. So Marty in and through. Just the run to spin his legs down into the finish. So we're going to leave Marty to spin those legs out, buddy, till you get to that blue banner. Don't forget, support the people who support the Crosscast, who support your sport. They are just over there. You can see them on the screens. They've been across the board, across the banner, all the way through. They're there. There's discounts for members of the DCG gang. They are there to keep the show on the road. So a massive thank you to them. A big thank you to Chris and Andy from Velaskin for looking after our riders. And congratulations to Jimmy Allen, winning that year's supply of Shemi Cream, plus lots of other goodies as well. I'll be back tomorrow for the broadcast. No broadcast on Thursday, remember, but I'll be back tomorrow with the WOW DCG, the women's only Wednesday on the Donny Chaingang. So for now, from me, Matt Payne, stay safe, enjoy your riding. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.